Like I told you yesterday, I could use the drive,
Yeah.
and I could just use the time out the house.
Record that joint. We got that, man.
I could just use being out the house.
Roll my intro, bro. Let's have a good time.
Understand this. Understand this. Understand this.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your damn hands together. Get ready to have your earlobes massaged by the one and only
Finesse Mitchell.
We back. What's up, everybody? Yo, we back on this game. It's my name, Finesse. That's the thing. I don't know what I'm saying. I just start slaying.
I thought that was the intro.
Nah, man.
I'm like, you got the most fire intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and I am so happy to say this up front. Jeannie, I don't want to waste no time.
Don't waste it.
We have the man, the myth, the legend, one of my top 5 in the game that people don't even like. It's a lot of cats, people, that are flying under the radar for way too long. They living good. They enjoying life. They don't have no second guesses. They like, I'm killing this shit. But then there's that one more step that we need to be at, where we turning down projects.
Yeah.
We looking at them differently. We're like, does that fit my brand? Does that fit what I want to do? I don't want to be in a bad headspace playing that character.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the space where we need to be. And right now, I have one of the OGs. I think he started maybe at least 2 years or a year in front of me, or really got it going. He's famous in his own right, but he comes from a famous family. None other than Mr. Tony Rock.
You. What up?
I had to give him one of them Steve Harvey intros. I got goosebumps saying all that shit about my boy, man, because I know it's true. One thing I love about doing stand-up comedy, especially out here in L.A., is you get to go up in front of or behind the greats. And when I tell you, people, the man makes you second guess if you're going to go up behind him. He's that dude on stage. And I told him we kind of all got out here, and I'm going to get to that story at the same time, almost at the same time. But I also told him that he was on a show. What was your first sitcom, Tony? That show you had on a suit all the time. You was the friend of Dwayne Martin?
All of us.
So he was on all of us. Dwayne Martin.
Yeah.
And,
Dwayne Martin, Lisa Ray, Elise Neal, Terry J. Vaughn, Kamani Griffin, James Nordoliva, Tony Rock.
Do you know what year that was?
I want to say 2004.
Let me tell you something, people. Okay, this is how you know folks talented. Because I got out here in 99. When did you get out to L.A.?
2000.
I'm telling you, it just doesn't happen for comics. They got too many actors to choose from to put you on network television. So when you a stand-up comic and you blazing the stage, but make that quick transition to TV, they don't care who you related to. They want to know if you can act. Right. And when I saw him, it made me say, oh, shit, I need some lessons. Because when I say it was effortless, man, and that's in 2004.
I think that same sentiment plays stronger in the stand-up world.
Yes.
They don't care who you related to. Because when you get on the stage, it's like, yo, your sibling don't matter. We paid money to be in a comedy club. So
wow.
People would intro me. Lester Barry, I'm going to name names. Lester Barry tried to diss me one night, brought me on stage and was like, I never heard of him. He's supposed to be funny. He Chris Rock brother. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that's not even like it was nowhere necessary.
Where's the intro?
But he did it so that the room would have like higher expectations and he ain't funny. He Chris Rock brother. And that's all he did. You know what I mean?
We got a lot of hosts that
like
do
an underlying diss.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I went on stage. I had a great set.
Yes. First of all, people in our culture, in our comedy community, the stand-up world, there are people who can be the host of different nights in the city locally. We only have 3 major stages where everybody from all over the world would want to be on the Laugh Factory stage, the Comedy Store stage, or the Hollywood Improv, the Melrose Improv. Those are our 3 stages. If you're African American, if you are a black dude and you get off that plane, train, or automobile and you get here, more than likely, if nobody has told you, you work your way in at the Ha Ha Cafe. It is still open, and they don't. They're not as stringent on the who you are if people are vouching, and that's a lot of times all you need. Oh, that's Tony Rock. Tony Rock didn't need no vouch because people are going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, we'll say that is a true, and that is a favor in your category.
And one thing I had that a lot of people I noticed, I didn't know people didn't do this until I got out here. Was like, oh, people just flying out here blindly. I didn't know that.
Yes,
I didn't know people were just literally
like without plans
in Cleveland. Like, you know what? I'm going to LA with no plans. We just saved up some money, worked one summer at whatever, and just came out. I did not know that so many people were doing that. You know what I mean? I knew people were doing it, but not so many. I came out after establishing myself in New York. I was in New York going hard. I worked every night in New York. It's 12 comedy clubs in New York City. So I could do, realistically, I could do like maybe 7-8 spots a night. Did that for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And still didn't want to make the trek to LA until after Montreal Comedy Festival. Then it was like, okay, let's play the game. So I came out with, sorry to cut you off. I came out with the backing of a whole city.
Right.
Montreal Comedy Festival back in its heyday was the place where stand-up comedians get record deals.
Yeah, it was.
We would get deals.
I call it the NBA draft of comics. It literally can change your life.
It was if you have a tight 10 to 15 minutes, a lot of times 8 in most occasions.
New Faces is 6.
New Faces now is 6. But comedians from the Kevin Harts to the Danny Boys, who you might not even know, but a big overseas comedian, the Russell Simmons overseas, who came over here and was like, damn, and went back. And Russell was kind of like, told you. Like, because we have one of our favorite comedians, Russell Peters, who lives out here among other places, but he'll tell you the same thing. So hard to get to black people. Like, it's so hard for them to just say like, oh yeah, I know Russell Peters. You know what I mean?
Right.
Versus the people in the comedy game saying, y'all don't know who the fuck Russell Peters is.
I remember they had a comedy festival in Vegas a couple of years back. And it was big. My brother performed. Like Wanda did a show. You know, it was really pretty big. And I went out with my younger siblings. I took them out to Vegas to see Big Bro perform. And we're eating somewhere, and I'm walking through the casino, and I see Russell, and me and Russell start talking, and Chrissy's sitting there. And Russell says, hey, can you introduce me to your brother? And I'm like, wait, y'all don't know each other?
Right.
And he's like, no, I never met him. So I turned to Chrissy. We call Chris Chrissy. Chrissy, my man Russell Peters want to meet you. And Chrissy goes, wait a minute. You're Russell Peters?
Wow.
And he's like, yeah. He's like, wait, you're the Russell? Like, he knew who he was.
Right.
And had never met him.
Right.
And Russell Peters was like, yo, thank you so much. I'm like, how do y'all not know each other? And he's like, I know him. I just didn't know that was him.
What? Okay. How many rocks are there?
10.
How many baby rocks?
10.
10.
Charles, Chris, Andre, Tony, Derek, Brian, Kenny Corn, Andy Jordan.
You know what? He's been learning that since kindergarten. That came out way too fast.
Yeah, the cadence to it.
That was when you come to LA, you're going to have to answer these questions.
Yes.
Memorize all these questions.
So, and you are which one? Where are you on the totem pole?
I'm 4.
Who's the oldest?
Charles.
Okay. And then
Chris.
Okay, there it is. And now who's the baby?
Jordan.
Jordan
is the last of the Mohicans.
Jordan does stand-up comedy. Is he the only other brother that does stand-up comedy?
No, Chris does stand-up also.
No, I mean, man.
It's Jordan, it's Chris, myself.
So, yes. Well,
and, you know, everybody's funny.
Yes.
My brother Brian, super duper funny. Kenny, I'm sure you met Kenny before. Hilarious. My sisters are funny. Everybody's funny.
I was gonna ask that. Like, is it in the family? Is it in DNA?
Dad,
you know, the
funny.
Wayans
Moms
family.
was funny. Grandpa, uncles. I have uncles that literally missed their calling. Like literally could have been John Witherspoon or you know, Red Fox.
Do they remind y'all of that though? When they ever hang out with your uncles, do they be like, you know, I could have done that shit, right?
Nah, they just when they tell stories, and which is like how I even the earliest seed I remember of wanting to have this power was cookouts, like watching my uncles tell stories. Now keep in mind, my father's the oldest of 15.
Okay.
And my father was big on family. Like my father's like family over everything.
Y'all got DeBarge numbers.
So my dad would be like every one of our birthdays, my father would tell all of his brothers and sisters, I want all of y'all at the house for my child's birthday. So house packed, full of uncles and aunts, and all my uncles and aunts had several kids as well. So it's a bunch of cousins, bunch of uncles, bunch of aunts, us, mom, dad, and I remember my uncles in the backyard just telling a story about, how they grew up in South Carolina or how broke they were when they moved to New York, and everybody just being captivated by the story, which was like heartfelt. It was funny. It was genuine. And I just remember like, wow, he has control of everybody. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that?
Did you think back then you wanted to be on stage one day? Or
No, I
were
just
you
wanted
just
to
mesmerized by like
I just wanted to be in the backyard commanding an audience. Then from there, it was Richard Pryor. And it was like, oh, he does it too, but he's like, everything's funny.
Right.
And then my mother told me, like, that's his job. He gets paid to do this. He goes around the world. And then I saw him on TV. Oh, he does movies too. He does TV shows too. And yeah, he does movie. He does TV. He does stand up. He travels.
This her explaining Richard to you.
Yeah. Because you know why? Because I was going to school telling Richard's jokes.
Gotcha.
Cursing and everything. Saying it just the way he said it. And teachers, my mother was a teacher. She taught at the school I went to.
The special with him in the red silk shirt. Is that that's not Hollywood Strip. That's black pants, red silk shirt that he sweat through.
Oh, that's
went to Africa. The cheetah had the dog that was gonna fuck the monkey.
Is that Here and Now? I just saw Live on the Sunset Strip the other night. It was the red suit with the gold.
That was
shoes.
the red suit. That was after he burnt himself up. But the one before this was he went to Africa for the first time, and I was a kid. Every summer we went to Mount Vernon, New York to visit, my uncles, my cousins. And we would hide up under my uncle's bed in his room when he went to go play cards at night with my mom, because that was their thing. All the cousins would get together, play spades or bid whiz and drink whatever. And old school card table, like smoke in the room. It just looked like everything you see in a movie when they doing that type of scene, and the kids would scurry off into the uncle's room, and we would get under his bed, and all you see is these heads under the bed, and we would break our neck to look straight up because this man had a TV on a dresser, so we on the floor looking straight up as a kid, acting like that shit don't hurt, to watch Richard Pryor on HBO. His special had just come out, and we didn't know anything about stand-up comedy, but that was my first comedian watching, saying any bad word he said, we would stop.
Wow. Yeah, when you're a kid, it's funny just because he's cursing.
He said poop.
And then you realize, like, oh, this dude is crafting words together.
Yes. When you're on stage, man, I can't say this enough. The material is dope. I say the same thing to Tony every time he come on stage. Let me shoot your special.
Yeah, that's true.
Every time I see him.
That is true.
The material is dope.
And then he did the special, and I was text him like, hey, so what do I need to know? What would you have done different? Like, what did you learn from it? He's like, let's get together. Let's talk.
You know what I love about that is that I cannot tell you that Finesse Mitchell and Tony Rock hang out every weekend. We don't. But I think not only the love of comedy, but just the love of every, like, you good.
Right.
How do you win? How do we win?
Right.
I could count so many names.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when I show up on the scene, when I leave the crib, make that drive and show up on the scene, I realize also now me and Tony before were in a different space, because I had this mentality of, damn, I killed that shit. Damn, Tony was good tonight. Damn, Christy Lee was good tonight. Damn, shit, Frazier Smith, he was good tonight.
Right.
You had those nights, but I used to jet right after. I say my little. And Tony has this piece of real estate he owns in the Laugh Factory, where he's clearly paid for this couch. He's clearly made a deal with the owner that this is the Tony Rock couch. He doesn't know what he's doing, or maybe he does, but from the outside looking in, it's the coolest shit to see, because no matter where you just came from, when you walk upstairs in the Laugh Factory, if you look at the back of the room, Tony's on his couch, and Tony's comrades are surrounding Tony on his couch. It's Tony's couch. You know what I mean?
It's like you're in the folklore.
Yeah, it's like our cheers.
It will be if somebody's telling a comedy seller story, and being like Patrice O'Neal.
Yeah,
and it's the usual suspects are at their table. There was a certain table.
Wow.
And that was their
that's
table.
that's my cloth. My cloth in New York was that back table was Patrice, Keith Robinson, Louis C.K., my brother sometimes Jerry would stop in, Colin Quinn, big names, big guys, and they would have that back table commandeered, and I would just watch, like, how do I get to that table?
You need that in comedy.
Man, the conversation that must be going on at that table,
And you know what I do sometimes when I come? I give my respects, but I'm not going to sit on that couch. That's Tony's couch. I don't know if he got guests coming, but I do know that's Tony's couch. But what I also see that he doesn't see is when the younger cats come in, they are trying to position themselves to enter the conversation. And that's what stand-up comedy is about, being so inspired enough when the young ones say, how do I get to that back table in the cellar? You're that back table in L.A.
Yeah.
So that's, and then on top of that, he just destroys the stage. And I wanted to make a point in saying that Tony's one of them dudes. You think you might want to battle? No, you don't, because he ain't got to tell jokes. The crowd work, Jeannie, is on the level of Finesse Mitchell. There are days when you know me. There are days when I do crowd work when I'm just like I'm just about to pull him into my conversational set.
Right.
But I'm about to tie it all together. If I had to name a top 5, Tony Rock is one of those people, and it's effortless. And you know what he does great. I mean, I don't know why I do, because you're my guest, and that's definitely why I'm doing this. Because I'm like, man, I'm talking a lot about Tony, but that's the weed. Anyway, I'm like, what are we here for again? Oh, that's right. But I also want to say, now Tony uses the N-word. Finesse Mitchell doesn't use it that much. But he's one of those comics where you don't hear nothing. It's just too funny. Right. Everything is so cleverly done. It's so highbrow. It's funny. You know what I mean? Versus like somebody going to certain areas, and I hate to see somebody do crowd work and they go in and they attack somebody versus like they're bombing. Yeah. So now it's like, did somebody say something? No, nobody said anything. Don't bring it down here. No, Tony effortlessly.
But what do you think? You glossed over a very important component that I think a lot of people don't give a lot of attention to, is that you said he does the crowd work and ties it all together. That's the component that people just seem to forget sometimes. That's what makes it good. When everybody, whoever does it, not just me, when you start a joke here, you're talking about whatever. And then somebody says something in the room and you go into crowd work and make the joke there. And then tie it back to this. Holy shit. That's when people are like, yo, that's when they don't even know if it's written.
Right.
Or if it's
exactly
crowd work.
They'll say two things. You know that dude, or you know that girl, or she was, saying, y'all know each other, because it just seemed like that was too good. That was scripted. Or you didn't even write none of that. You was just, you know what I mean?
Right.
And the great comics make their material sound like it's a conversation or you've never said it before. And there are other people who are just dope joke writers and tellers, but it's a totally different style. And that's a big money lane too, to just Ron White yourself all the way up to the top.
Yeah.
Joke after joke after joke. Sip after sip, cigar, on to the next one. His boy with the no sleeves on his shirt.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Larry the Cable Guy. Gazillionaire. Exactly. Just off of one-liners, bro. Just off Jeff was the same way. But what Tony does and what I admire, because I'm one of those people who, when they go in their bag, who got all the skill sets? Who's got every tool in the damn bag? Tony Rock got every goddamn tool. So now he, in my opinion, because say like comedian Lil Rel. Love Lil Rel. Rel is turning down work.
Yeah. He's
turning down work. So now, when you see goals that you want to reach to, the only way I turn down something if it's be like, okay, so your lover is named Rick. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. My name already Finesse. I'm not doing it. I don't want that role.
You a fool, boy. Hey, man, you dumb.
I turned down Adam Sandler did The Longest Yard, And at the time, I was on SNL.
You turned down the Tracy Morgan part.
I turned down the Tracy Morgan part because he was like, "You're gonna be in a dress. You're gonna be the cheerleader." And I was like, "I have one of my main characters is Starkeisha on SNL.
Hey.
I'm in drag." I thought I actually had a shot in 2003 with Halle Berry because when all week we just hit it off. We was just like, this is a great feeling.
Man.
And then on Saturday,
fuck that. Tell that story.
man, she was our second host of Saturday Night Live, and me being green and didn't know anything. Saturday Night Live was my first job.
Right.
I didn't know anything in 2003. I had got out here in 99. So to go to not only did I know nothing about SNL, I didn't know shit about New York. So to go to New York and just be in that environment, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Hallie's in that room. Go say what's up." I'm like, y'all don't know me like that.
Woo.
This might be the day I get fired because y'all don't know. Y'all didn't do one background check to know that I should be in that room by myself.
She's safe around me.
Yeah, she's safe. But we hit it off. Cool chick, bro. Love her to death. And then on Saturday when we did the Starkeisha sketch and we had to rehearse and we had to do the whole makeup, that was the first time I was in drag. And when she looked at me, I saw every possibility I might have had.
Wow.
Just seep into the atmosphere and disintegrate in the air.
Wow.
So when I realized now I have to make this, it's hard to be on TV enough, especially on SNL, but Starkeisha was a great sketch. So do I keep this going? Okay, I'm going to keep this going. Fuck it, I'm going to keep this going. But then Adam was like, "Hey, I want you to dress in drag and play." I was like, I can't go from doing this on TV every other week and then being in a movie. Then that's me. I ain't got nowhere to go after that because Finesse, you want somebody gay or to play drag? Finesse. And I'm like, so I
You didn't want to get typecasted.
I didn't want to get typecasted. I didn't have work. And the way Tracy explained it to me is, it was a winning team. It was Reynolds. It was Rock. It was a winning. I had to do it for that. I'm like, you gotta explain to me.
Yeah.
But
Man.
but I say all that.
Berry. Woo. Okay. I that's all I heard. That's the only part of the story I heard. It was like,
I say all that to bring it back
Berry.
around to But yeah, I love the fact that I feel like as great as we both are, and especially as great as you are, and the brilliant ideas that you spit in my ear, sometimes like we on the cusp of just like, I think everybody's about to have a dope 2020. I really do.
I really feel like that. I really feel like when the gates open back up, it's gonna be like a horse race. It's gonna be like ding, 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 and everybody's gonna get out to position. You know what I mean? Like he's on the inside track. He's coming around. It's gonna be it's gonna be really special when the gates open back up.
Do you think there are people who are spending their time better or getting things ready now?
I know I am. I can't speak for anybody else, but I know I'm the time off stage. I heard somebody say the other day on my Instagram, it was like I'm talking to people, and somebody said, I'm scared to get back. It was a comic we know. I think, was it Sean Larkins? No, it wasn't Sean. It was a comic, and they were like, I'm scared to get back on stage now after all this time. I might bomb my ass off. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's interesting because I didn't even think of that. Mm-hmm. I didn't even think that all this time off stage might be the detriment because I've been spending the time figuring out all the jokes I have. Oh, that's where the hole was. That's where the bump was. That's where the hiccup was. That's where because now I can sit back and look at it every day like, oh, that's why that wasn't hitting as hard. Like, okay, wait a minute.
Do you watch film, listen to audio, or just
both.
Look at your jokes?
I all three.
Okay.
I'm so old school. I still paper and pen my jokes.
Right.
I still sleep pen and pad on the side of the bed.
Right.
Jump up in the middle of the night, scare my girl. What? I'm like, I gotta write this down so I don't forget it in the morning.
Right.
And she'd be like, what the hell? Like.
Right.
And I'm like, I just gotta get it because sometimes I'll be in bed like, no, I'll remember it.
I have upgraded to notes in the iPhone. I do go to notes.
Yeah, I put notes in the phone too sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I put bullet points. Mm-hmm. I'll just put. Like, sometimes I'll just think something's funny. I just think this is a funny premise. Mm-hmm. I don't know where I want to take it. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm trying to say with it. But I think this is a funny premise. So I'll just put the premise in my phone or on a piece of paper. And then sometimes go on stage at the factory, do halfway through my, set that I have in my head that just, the set, you have that set that's like, I can do this any day. Mm-hmm. Halfway through, sneak that premise in and try to find it on stage. Mm-hmm. The best way to write comedy is, for me, is on stage. Because then you have to challenge your brain to figure it out right there on the spot. So it's like, I'll do half, I'm doing 20-minute set. 11 of those minutes is, this is all tried and true. 12th minute. So, you ever wondered if people do this and it's all, none of it's written, and gauging the audience? No, okay, they feel it over here. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes women don't understand what you're trying to, and I'm like, okay, it's got legs now. Let's keep it going. Let's see where we're going with it. And just figure it out on stage. Then get off like, okay, I got to put that together now. Now I have pieces to put to it. Now I understand what I'm trying to say with it. Now I know what I want to say with it. Now I know the reaction it got from people. So that's when we start writing.
Gotcha. I love it.
Wow, so a lot of your exploration and discovery is initially on stage. I know you have the observation beforehand,
I think that's the best way to discover is on stage.
Wow.
I think so. In the house sitting down, you're like, okay, this is.
There are moments when I look at it and I'm like, this is funny. This is funny. And then there are premises that the premise is funny, but the joke ain't written. You need people for it to be written.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Sometimes I write a joke and it's like, this is going right in the rotation. You have those magical moments where it's like, I got this shit from beginning to end in my head. I don't know how women do this, and then because people think, and if you look at it, bam, oh shit, that's the whole bit. That's the whole bit in the rotation. Wow. I'm on stage next week in Cleveland. That shit is in the rotation.
You know what I hate? I hate not doing the work that I need to do, but I know this shit is funny. Meaning like it goes this way, because I kind of never do my sets the same way, but I know it goes this way. And then when I go out and I go record something, man, like I shoot something. I don't care if it's a TV appearance or whatever, but when I go back and I watch it and I'm like, that don't go that way. Or I left out this word, And so I find myself always writing on top of the jokes, and I'll be year 4 in to creating that flawless, effortless, 20-minute set just to do at the Laugh Factory. Just to be like, this is the night I'm going to do the set from beginning to end.
Right.
Instead of doing new material, I do the punch-ups or the add-ins to go into the old material to make the whole thing just like. And so sometimes I have a
But you always writing jokes, like you're always writing on a joke, adding to a joke. No joke is ever done. I tell people all the time, no joke is ever finished. I don't think any comic, Eddie Murphy will look at Delirious and go, I should have did this, I could have added that. My brother watches Bring the Pain like, shit, I should have. I don't think any joke is ever completed. It's just you got it to a point where you're like, okay, that's presentable. But if you look back at it, you'll go, let's take this out and put this in. Or add this to it. And now I could make it relationship-wise or make it pertain to, whatever else I can make it pertain. But no joke's ever done.
Do you feel like you need a wall behind you? One thing I noticed about your brother, he punches the mic when he's extremely happy of a response. One thing I noticed about you, when you're not performing your bit, like when you're not right in between that bit, you go lean up against that wall. And I don't know if you notice that.
No, I do. But that's know what that is? I don't do it like when I'm at the improvs or on the road or stuff like that. When I'm on the big tour, I do it. That's the trying to find it right there.
Gotcha.
That's me like, okay, let's try to find this. I'm literally in my head at that point. When you see me lean on the wall or touch the mic, lean on the stool, I'm literally, okay, let's figure this out. I'm going to say this. We're going to try to take it here. And then I come off the wall and start trying to present an idea I just conceived in my head. That's the lean on the wall it's kind of a crutch. It's kind of like a little fearful because when you back up from the audience, that's what it is. Body language is when you back up from the audience, it's kind of like a little bit of fear. So that's like, okay, we going to really do this. So when I come off the wall, it's like, fuck it, let's jump into it. Let's get into it and see what happens. When you see comics grab the mic stand, when they tell them the bit. So I was thinking that's a crutch. I watch all of that stuff. I study people's. Okay, he don't believe in that joke.
Literally a crutch.
Yeah, that's a crutch. Sometimes sitting down for comics that don't sit down. Some guys that's their thing. They sit and they just go. Patrice was a sit down guy.
Yeah,
he would literally sit down and could destroy a stage. But some guys they're up and then you see that kind of start. They start retreating. Then they sit. It's like they don't believe in that bit. He's not delivering it with confidence. And that's what bombing is. Bombing is. It's not the material at all. It's not the material's not working. It's you gave up on the material.
Yeah, your performance.
You not delivering the material like you believe in it, and the audience picks up on it.
Yep. And then they don't trust you.
They don't believe you, so they're like, "Why?"
They already said this ain't going.
Now
nowhere.
They're like, "Why is he up here? He don't believe in himself." That's what a bomb is. Then it's boo. fool, get out of here, you suck. But they first peep, oh, he's not confident.
Favorite city
to perform in, besides home, is DC.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Rock is sitting across from me right now. Favorite city to perform in?
DC Improv.
DC Improv. I love the DC Improv. High stage, low ceiling.
Low ceiling.
In the basement.
Intimate audience, right?
I thought you was going to say Houston. He's the mayor of Houston.
Nah,
he disowning Houston because Houston is spiking in COVID right now.
It's some other shit. Yeah, please, everybody in Houston, please practice
Please
social
put your
distancing.
mask on.
I want to get back out there, but I can't come right now. But yeah, DC is this is the thing. It's not even the room so much as it's the city. Upwardly mobile black people.
And they come out.
That come out and support and have a grasp of everything you're talking about. The Bible Belt. You might say something, Trump said in the news the other day, like, what the fuck? What? DC, anything you say. Yeah, so the prime minister of Shigakistan said yesterday, they like, yep, we know. Because it's DC.
And they own it. They know everything.
Yesterday in L.A.,
it was the performance.
A 4.2 earthquake in Barstow yesterday. DC, they like, yeah, we heard about it. Yep. Wow. And they're black people. It's like we following everything you're saying because it's DC. Certain cities like that. Like DC's not the only city, but DC is beautiful black women, black people with their shit together. They're very supportive. They come out. Then it's the room. Low ceiling, high stage, very intimate audience. It's like they set you up to win. It's like it's like the pitch is coming.
But how many? I have no dates. I've had. When I say 2020 was fire. I had to shoot that show. The show was over in March, so anything that was in January, February, March got pushed to the back end. So it was really like I'm gonna be gone. Right. I have no dates. Do you still have dates? You didn't just
keep pushing them back?
Yeah, I mean, but none of. I am not in the 2020. I am not in the 2020 reopen schedule.
No, we did.
Right
what
now.
We did is the dates. I haven't been out since March. And I remember it vividly because that's when everything shut down. March 13th, I was in D.C. at Constitution Hall.
Okay.
It was a Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th. I land in D.C. The show's at Constitution Hall all day. Phones ringing like every half hour. My manager, stage manager, yay, I don't know if we're going to do this show tonight. This whole coronavirus thing is crazy. I'll keep you posted. I'm at the hotel. What's the word? We'll let you know in an hour. It's like 3 o'clock. I'm in D.C. All right, 4 o'clock. Yo, they said the show's still on. We'll see. Let's keep our fingers crossed. 5 o'clock. Hey, man, I don't know. People are getting worried. 6 o'clock. Yo, show's canceled. So that was Friday. I was in D.C. Saturday, I was in Norfolk, Virginia. So I'm like, okay, what about Norfolk? They're like, no, Norfolk so far still a go. So the next morning we wake up, we drive from D.C. to Norfolk. As we're driving, yo, show's still a go. Are you on the highway? I'm on the highway, man. Let me know something. Half hour later, yeah, we still a go. You close? Yeah, I'm almost there. Get to the venue. Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do the show. So we did Norfolk. And then that Sunday, I flew back to L.A. And everything shut down. So I say all that to say the rest of my March and April, when everything was shut down, we tried to be strategic. It was like, okay, we got dates in March. Let's push those dates to June. Let's push April to July. Let's push May to August. Then everything's still locked down. Okay, let's push June to September. Let's push July to October. So that's what we kept doing. So I still have dates. We just kept pushing them back and back. So I don't know what's going on.
I'm all pushed out.
I still have dates.
As far as I know, I'm not supposed to go back out until September, October, but I just don't see it. And what I do know is them cutting the audience in half in a lot of the clubs, taking half attendance. More headliners are going into the clubs, which are pushing dates that are being rescheduled only because somebody wanted that date.
Like not even more headliners, bigger names are going to the clubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we can't do theater shows at this point.
And David Spade and gonna come to the clubs and okay, what they got to do with me? We're gonna give them your date.
I kind of think that's gonna be a good thing though, only because you're gonna get like a good thing in this regard. It's gonna be a fire ass show. So just like you said, like Sarah Silverman will call up Dave Attell and go, hey, let's go together.
Right.
Tony Rock could call
but I look at it like this.
Finesse Mitchell and say, hey, let's go together.
But what about the C plus B level comics who do the 1,500 weekends? They out of work because the headliners are coming in and taking up those dates. The main headliners.
Right.
The theater headliners is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Because you can't go to no theater no more.
Yeah,
so
that's going to happen.
So,
unless that 1,500 comic.
He has to jump on somebody's show.
He can host, maybe.
Yeah, he has to jump on somebody's show. But it definitely squeezes the whole culture down a peg when it comes to all the headliners coming back into the clubs.
I agree with that.
Because I got a lot of white comic friends who we so tired of the entire Funny Bone 3-month lineup is black comics. Like sometimes a business model where they structure themselves and how they market.
You ever look at that calendar and you're like, damn, like black comedy. Whoever said black comedy wasn't the shit?
Yeah.
Like I look at the calendar when I'm there. I always ask, who was here last week? Who's here the week after? I always want to know.
I don't mind when white comics be like, this is reverse racism. I have to say it, Finesse. It's reverse racism. Like,
well, it's not like we're not putting asses in the seats.
Yeah.
First of all, the biggest myth in comedy is that comedy club owners give a fuck about the art of stand-up comedy.
Right.
I
would agree.
They do not at all. Not 1%. Not maybe 0.5% of comedy club owners.
They've all sold to businessmen.
Care about the art form. They give a fuck about 2-drink minimum and buying tickets. They're in the business of making money. The best way to make money, you got to buy 2 drinks. You got to pay at the door. That's what a comedy club owner's in the business for. He's not like, who's the most articulate comic and who has the most thought-provoking material. And
they prove that to us.
Who's going to buy these drinks? What nigga am I going to put on stage and these people going to buy these drinks?
They prove that to us and just to the comedy culture in general. I think it was probably like a strong 4 years ago when it was like, how many followers on YouTube she got?
Yep.
And then that's when they started changing the entire business model to like, your act will come in time, but you just sold out 7 shows, and it's a business.
Yep. And
hold on, one thing I want to say. And when I said half of those owners have sold to businessmen, it was a lot of club owners who can tell you the first time Red Fox came to town, or they knew the trajectory of somebody's career because they started here and that. Those people have straight sold out to, corporate Larry, and corporate Larry is like 2-drink minimum.
And here's the thing: if I'm being entirely honest with you, which I am, I was a recipient of that push to when I went from feature to headliner. I was the recipient of that. Let's bump them up because it's ticket sales.
Okay.
It wasn't because I was a good comic.
Gotcha.
But here's the thing: I used to be very few people know this, or very few people remember this. I used to be John Witherspoon's opening act. I used to be Kim Cole's opening act. I used to be Tracy Morgan's opening act, right? For a couple of years. And what happened was, it was a couple of comedy clubs in Jersey and like upstate New York. That Tony Rock was their guy. I was the feature. Hey, we got Kim Cole's, we got a black headliner. Bring that kid up from New York. I would go up for the weekend. So John Witherspoon, who was very, very, I so much appreciate just sitting and talking with him in the green room, learned a lot. Tracy Morgan, I couldn't put a price on how much game he gave me. To this day, he's my sensei. He's the big homie forever because he just gave love. Everything was knowledge and just like, let me talk to you about this game. But I say all that to say, I'll try to keep the story short. So I'm Kim Cole's headliner. I'm feature, right? Show's over, 250 people in the room. Show's over, 75 people are like, hey, can we get a picture with Tony and Tony's autograph? And the rest are waiting for Kim Cole's. The next night, 100 people are like, can we meet Tony? And the rest is waiting for Kim Cole's. And the comedy club owner goes, okay, hold up. I can bring this kid back to headline. I don't need to put him on as a feature because all they care about is the 2 drinks and the door. Okay, he can do his own thing. I wish I would have kept them just to show people. My first flyers for me as a headliner literally said, appearing this weekend at, laughs all over or whatever the club, in Trenton, New Jersey. Chris Rock's brother, Tony Rock. That was my credit. That was my credit. I wish I would have kept the flyers. Literally a picture of me, Chris Rock's brother. Now, here's the thing. At the time, I didn't have a strong 45. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a headliner set. Mm-hmm. But it's like baseball. You fans of baseball? I'm a big fan of baseball. Mm-hmm. When you get called up to the major leagues, you can't say, hey, whoa, I'm not ready yet. I can't hit the curveball. I can't hit it just yet.
Right.
You got to go when they say go. Because if you don't go, they might not ever call again.
Right.
So I got bumped up to headliner, being 100% honest with you. Mm-hmm. I didn't have the material to be a headliner. Mm-hmm. So this is where the crowd work came in. Okay, what's the quickest way to get new material?
Right.
I had maybe a strong 20. And if I say a strong 20, then you know that's a strong 12.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So I would go on stage and do a fire 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then do crowd work for 10 minutes. And then do another fire written 5. Right? Mm-hmm. But in that 10 minutes, this was the challenge that I would always tell myself. In that 10 minutes, tone, you have to find something to be able to stay up there for 10 minutes. Because if you dip into your written material
too soon,
you're fucked towards the end. Mm-hmm. So when I went into that 10-minute window of, hey, man, where you from? What do? You guys married? I literally kept telling myself, you have to find something. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's where it came when people was like, damn, Tone's like a beast at this crowd work. It was feast or famine with me. It was like if I was a person that didn't give me nothing, yo, you guys married? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It was, oh shit, he's not giving me anything.
You guys married?
To the point where I would do something with that. It was, you guys married? Yeah. Damn, this dude don't want to talk to me at all. Like he really trying to. It must be a deep secret in this marriage. Like he don't want to tell. Like whatever I got, I had to Rubik's Cube that shit quickly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, you guys married? No, we're dating. Oh, let's see where this going. Is it first date? And then as soon as they said that, it was like I gotta figure. Okay, right. You know, first dates are weird because the first date, he nervous, she nervous, and I had to run that 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I would hit a fucking home run.
Yeah.
And show's over, run to the back and write that shit down.
Right.
So now it's in the bit. It's in the material. Mm-hmm. So second show will be like, man, first show I had this couple that was sitting here. They was on the first date. First dates is weird, man, because you know the guy's nervous, the girl's now I got a bit.
Yeah.
And that was every single show until I had 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. But at the time, I didn't have it. And throughout, doing that over and over again, it worked a muscle
right.
that now I do all the time. So now when you come to see Tony Rock, I always tell people my show is I call it a conversation with Tony Rock because I have way more material than to fill the time.
Yeah, right.
But I still do it because I know I'm going to get something, and people know, oh, that's what Tone does. Right. Once people know what you do on stage,
right?
That's how people become fans. They know, oh, he does this. Mm-hmm. They know my brother's known for political. They know Dave is known for the human experience and very funny observations. They know Jerry does the what's the deal. They know that they know Tony does stand up, and then he makes stuff up in the room that's so quick that you think it's material, but it's like he really made it up right there. So that's why I still do it because people come hoping to see it.
Who's your Mount Rushmore?
Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, George Carlin, Patrice O'Neal.
Okay.
I had to put 5.
I was about to say you added a Tito on there because it's only 4. There it is. That's dope. Yeah, you know what's so funny? I have Patrice in my top 5. I have Patrice O'Neal in my top 5. I definitely have Chappelle in my top 5. Richard Pryor.
Yeah, everybody
that you said.
Everybody's in their own space, and like Richard's the king. Mm-hmm. Richard's the king. We are all offsprings of Richard. Mm-hmm. All of us are Richard's children. So Richard's the king. Dave's my idol.
Mm-hmm. Same with me.
I think that last special, the 846, I think he's the best. I told one of my boys, I'm like, yo, I think he might be number 1 now.
Right.
Because
he is at that point where we could care less if you tell a joke. just let me know what you're thinking.
That's how dope it was. It was so dope. It was
mm-hmm.
like, okay, some of it was like, of course, some of it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, damn, like, he's just talking and I'm enjoying this.
Mm-hmm. Because
the insight is so strong. The points of view are so defined. I'm like, damn, this dude, he might be the greatest.
It's what everybody wanted to articulate. It's a bunch of comedians I was going to say that. You weren't going to say it like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I had a joke about
that way.
Yeah, I had a joke about. Yeah, you did. I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
But you ain't have that.
He is so many times, like he knows that he's the reason I started doing comedy. I've told him that when I first met him, when I was a giddy kid, like, man, you don't even know. Your set on Def Jam, the second one. Like, and I had to break it down and tell him what he was like. And then when we became cool, it was just like, I think I like this comedy game. Because now I know he's not hanging with me because he think I'm a fan. He's hanging with me because he's seen me. You know what I mean? Like, he's seen my shit. So I've just bridged that gap by saying, yo, bro, I'm telling you, I wouldn't even be in the game if it wasn't for seeing some of your shit.
Gave me one of the best compliments I ever had my entire career. Sarah Mello, shout out to Sarah Mello. I was doing I do my birthday show every year, my birthday comedy show. This is a few years back, and I told, Sarah Mello was working with Dave, and I'm like, yo, if you could just put the idea in his, just speak it in the room like Tone's doing a show. If he might have a free minute to stop by, if he wants to get on stage, that's a whole other thing. But if he could just stop by the birthday show, and that motherfucker came and got on stage and killed, and then he said, smoking a cigarette. Here for Tony's birthday, Tony Rock, man. Can I tell you a secret? And I'm sitting upstairs in the balcony, I'm sitting upstairs, and he goes, can I tell you a secret? I didn't even know you were Chris Rock's brother.
Dope.
I thought it was a horrible coincidence that you had the same last name. Then I saw you do stand-up, and I said, he'll be fine.
Dope.
Man.
Dope.
To the chest, bruh. To the chest. I was like, damn, my idol just said, I'll be fine. That was like, what's better than that? That's the best birthday present I got that year.
Because first time we talked and he saw me after the show, he was just like, you want to get something to eat? That's all he said. I didn't say shit about my set.
Yeah, I don't
say you was dope.
I don't. Last time I talked to him, I saw him. Yo, here's another dope story. Another dope story. I was in New York. I was home, and I get home. I'm in Brooklyn that day. I'm hanging around my dudes that I grew up with, childhood. My homies. It's like, yo, son, what we doing later? Let's go. And one of my homegirls texts me like, yo, you going to see Dave tonight? And I'm like, where's Dave? She's like, at Radio City. And I'm like, damn, I just got home. I wasn't even paying attention to the comedy world right now. And I'm with the homies. So I know Donnell is his opening act. Donnell, my man, 100 grand, like you, my man. Like you, Donnell, Naeem Lynn, Jay Phillips, my dudes.
All good people.
My dudes. I hit Donnell. Yo, man, I know it's, you getting your mind right for the show tonight. Didn't want to bother you. I'm in the city. If you got a ticket, I'd love to take it off your hands. Hit me, let me know. He hit me right back. Come on, son. I got you. How many you need? I'm like, dude, I don't even want to bother you. I need one.
Right.
I need one. He's like, nah, I'll leave you two. Nah, I don't want to do. I don't even want to impose like that. I need one ticket. He's like, bet, I got you. It'll be at the door. Boom, boom, boom. I go to the city by myself, dolo, get my ticket, going Radio City. I'm like, this is about to be fucking unbelievable. I think Ice Cube came out and performed. Then Donnell comes out. Then I forget who was after him, but lights go dark, room goes dark. Dave comes out, murders. Donnell comes in the room to watch. I'm standing there. He's like, "Oh shit, yo, what you doing? Yo, when it's over, come backstage." I'm like, "Nah, this nigga didn't just say that." Dave finishes his set, walks off stage, and I think Common goes on.
Okay.
Dave comes in the room to see Common. His security used to be Chrissy's security.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't want to bother him, but I want to let him see I'm in the room. So I see Country, his dude is country. Oh shit, Baby Rock, what up? I'm Baby Rock to him. Baby Rock, what's up, man? Yo, what's good? You seen Dave? I'm like, nah. Yo, Dave, Baby Rock. He comes over. Yo, oh, what's up, man? Thanks for coming, man. Listen, yo, when he's over, when he's finished, come backstage. Get the fuck out of here. Common finishes. I go backstage. I'm literally in the room like fly on the wall. Don't want to knock anything over. Don't want to ask a stupid question. Don't want to get kicked out of this room. They just holding court. Everybody, mad comics, agents, managers, everybody. I'm just in the room like, yo, this is crazy. Dave's holding court, telling stories. It takes me all the way back to being in the backyard, watching my uncle control the room like, damn, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then they go like, we going to eat or something like, and then I tell Donnell like, yo, I don't want to tag along. Like, y'all, you've done way more than you've gone above and beyond today. I appreciate you, homie. I bounce, go back to Brooklyn, tell my boys it's the craziest thing ever. Then fast forward, I'm in New Orleans for All-Star Weekend. Okay. I used to host a show on NBATV.com, a basketball show. And we in New Orleans, and I drive past the Sagan Theater, and it says, Dave Chappelle tonight. And I hit Donnell like, yo. Look, I hit him like, I text him and go, yo, guess who's in New Orleans? He says, son, come through, let's do something. Say no more. I go, he give me tickets. I go to the show, it was fire again. I'm like, this is insane. I got pictures on my Instagram like, yo, Dave's tonight, Dave Chappelle.
I went to his Palladium show when Dave was here in L.A. I went to the Palladium show, and Donnell did his thing. Chris Spencer went up, I think, did his thing. But it was just something about, yo, come backstage, come backstage. Cool, all right. Go backstage. Show's over. Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy, Lenny Kravitz, Zoe Kravitz.
Woo.
And I'm forgetting a couple of names. And everybody's just chilling, and I walk in, and you try not to you try to act like you're supposed to be there. But when you see every face, this is a A-list celebrity, and everybody's chilling. And Dave is just like, hey guys, we got to figure out what we're gonna do after this, And everybody's like, whatever you like. They're there to roll out.
Right.
There is. So you mean to tell me that shit does happen? There's another spot where this group goes, and it's a dope ass, like, it's LA, man. You can't tell me it's like groups of 15 A-listers chilling in whatever field and craft you in. You can be in fucking pottery making. Some dope pottery makers are hanging out right now during COVID, talking about how they're about to change the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you in these rooms and you see those people and you see your icons of comedy, the legends, and then everybody, all you want to do is say, can we take a picture? But you can't be that dude.
Right.
But you want proof that you was with them. Because I don't care where you put that picture, that's like a get out of jail free card.
I think that's one of the beauties of comedy is that it does that. Like you said, like it happens. I'm sure there's 20 football players after a game are like sitting around like, hey, what are we doing tonight? 20, whoever, sit around. But 20 comics, man.
I got a picture of your brother that same day, and this was before everybody was in this room. I called everybody in the hallway, but I was just like, fuck it, I'm going in. Hey, bro, can you snap this picture real quick? I ain't asked nobody for no picture.
Right.
And dude said, yeah. So I put my back up against him. I was like, come on in, fellas. And everybody turned around like, hey, what's up, Finesse? Hey, yeah. And everybody posed. Everybody posed before they could even think about it. Right. It's like I bum rushed them, paparazzi. I caught them off.
Yeah, you inceptioned them real quick.
Chris Rock, Lenny Kravitz, Finesse Mitchell, and Arsenio Hall. So I titled the picture 3 Dope Comics and a Rock Star. And it's in my house.
Dope.
But I got Rock and Kravitz and Arsenio, and I'm the dude. And when people come in, they just like, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good picture to have in your house.
Oh, my goodness, man. Any picture with Lenny Kravitz is a good picture.
That's a great picture.
But if you put Rock and Lenny in a freaking picture together, and you're like, yo, these my boys. Yeah, these my boys. This is a regular
picture,
Tuesday.
Man.
Yeah. It's a regular Tuesday for me.
Damn, that's a good one.
So I do love that about being here in LA. And now I got a major announcement to make on this podcast.
Ooh.
People, Tony Rock is a father.
Absolutely.
Tony Rock is a new dad.
Yes,
I've been trying to like.
Oh, dude,
That's big.
I've been
it's
doing
something beyond big. It's beyond big.
My first question is there still a Tony couch? Because this is what I wanted to say, and this is me bringing my podcast back around to me and you talking earlier today.
Right.
When I say I don't want to sit on your couch, it's only going to make me take time away
from my children,
from my baby. I got to get back to the crib. Yes. I know they're sleeping, but for me, one of the dopest things I think that all fathers should do is get a rocking chair. I don't care how corny it sounds. I don't care how lame it sounds, but get a chair with some motion to it. It ain't got to be that rocking chair. It can be that whatever they call it, lounge, whatever it is.
Yeah, we have that. We got the swivel little lounge.
Get the swivel. And you have to do this as a father. Go into your baby's room 2, 3 in the morning and practice your skill of not waking him up as you scoop him up. And then just rock. Just sit there. And when I tell you there's something, Tony, something morphs into your veins. It's almost like this baby is an extension of you. But just hearing his breathing, hearing her breathing, hearing whatever you're thinking as far as jokes, as far as pop culture, how you want to change the world for your seed, about all those women that bitch, you fucked up. Look what we could have had. There's so many thoughts that goes into your head, but it all circles back to I did this. Look at what I did. Wow.
I say that to my friends all the time when they text, like my homegirls back home will text me and my boys. I put a picture up and they'll be like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! I can't." And I just text back, "Yo, I made this. Like I made this dude. I made this little motherfucker, man. This is like, I made you, man."
And comics always say something funny. He said, "I made this little motherfucker." And one of my favorite jokes on Dave's sets is this motherfucker came out of my ball sack.
Yeah.
Right.
He said, "Dad," and I'm like looking at him like, "Talk to me." And I said, "You was in my ball."
And it's just like, it's just this way of just like, okay.
That's like a down south saying. An old down south saying is you don't know love until you hold the baby. Mm-hmm. You just hold the baby quietly, like you don't know what love is until you hold the baby.
Somebody told me, how is it having a daughter? And it's so funny when I gave him my just impulsive answer, I didn't see that person 3 years later, and they said, "You know what I remember about talking to you? It's so true." And I was like, "Well," he said, "Remember what you said about holding your daughter and the relationship you have?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Tell me what it is." I said it's the relationship you wish you had with your wife.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Bro, that's so true." Because when I tell you, my daughter Elle will help me hide a bloody knife if I murder somebody. There is nothing she will not do. There is nothing. If I say, "Elle, go get that," she is. And it's just like this thing of like, "Elle, I fucked up. I don't talk to her like that, but man, Daddy messed up. I was supposed to do X, Y, and Z. It's okay, Daddy. I'm sad, but we could still do it again." And I'm like, why doesn't your mother
that's real.
talk to me like this? But that's
what you're not gonna hear from
let her mom forget something. It's Mom, but you said you
really?
know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I just noticed that with Dad, it's just sort of like, Dad, it's okay. Only thing we might have a problem with is me not respecting her TV shows. I don't think the Peppa Pigs of the world are as important as COVID information. And if I don't feel like going upstairs, Daddy's going to change the TV.
Right.
He doesn't feel the need to say, "Excuse me, I'm Daddy." But other than that, man. So tell me so you said you and your lady, you wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, you write jokes. You wake up in the middle of the night and just go in the other room, stare at the baby, look at the baby, check on the baby.
The other room, I don't. Baby don't leave
room?
my baby. Don't. When I walk in the house, that baby don't leave me at all.
Right. Donnell Rollins, he had that same obsession with. He does still have that same obsession with his son.
She's tired. I walk in like when I go home right now. It'll be, "You tired?" Because she had the baby the whole time. "You tired?" "Yeah, I just need to go to sleep." Get my kid. I go sit outside. I got the chair that's like hanging, the hanging little wicker basket chair or whatever. Go out on the patio and just swing. The We don't even talk. He just sits there, swing. He looks around. He's trying to take it all in. He looks at me. Just.
Could you have been this same person 6 years ago? Do you think age has something to do with your attention? And your effort level? Absolutely. 6 years ago, is this the same Tony Rock?
Absolutely. No,
it's not.
6 years ago, I was running through every chick in L.A. I was partying crazy. If it was like my boys wanted to go to Vegas for whatever dumb reason, let's, so and so was at Dre's this weekend. Let's go.
I felt like Tony always went out. Tony was not dressed just to perform that night.
Yeah.
Tony was always had a place to go after the show.
Yeah, it was like, see, LA will do that to you. LA was like, okay, I got a spot at the factory Friday night. So it's maybe a light meal, then my show at the factory, then a party after that. Then we're in the Hollywood Hills at somebody's house. Then we're taking chicks back to the crib. And then it's like noon and my boys are waking up in my house like, yo, what are we doing? It's like, it was a whole...
Damn.
It was a movie. It was a movie.
I miss that side of LA in my comedy growth, because in 2003 I moved to New York and I did SNL, but everything he just described is what I did in the city of New York.
Yeah.
Every club, every night out, no matter, some nights got later and later, but we wouldn't leave because it was New York until around 1:30 in the morning. We did not leave our apartment. We either had a smoke fest at 1.
Yep.
If it was me and Keenan at SNL pretending to write and just wait until people weren't paying attention, and we dipped out at 1 and went to the clubs and came back in at 4 in the morning and everybody's still there and we act like we've been there the whole time, but I don't know LA like that. And there were so many times I want to be like, hey, where you going after this?
It was crazy,
because
bro.
Tony's, I can't even tell you. I can only tell you 3 clubs, and I can't even get in probably because they'll be like, "Who are you?" But I saw him do that lifestyle, and I was just like,
It was insane, bro. It was really crazy.
How do you maintain that? Like, where you sleep, like how do you? It seems like too much energy.
When I was filming the sitcom, now let's go further back than 6 years. When I was filming the sitcom, we would rehearse. Like, let's say it was a shoot day. Let's say Friday was a shoot day. We would shoot the show wraps. I had invited so many people to the set for the taping. We would have a party on the set. So let's say we start taping at 5. We wrap at 9. Is that like a reasonable amount of time? Yeah, wrap at 9:30. We would party on the set from 9:30 to like 11:30. Right? Jump in 4 or 5 cars, race to the Laugh Factory to close the 10 o'clock show. Right? We was right there you was at
Sunset and Gower?
No, not Sunset Gower. What's the one in the valley?
You was in Burbank, or you was in
right here.
CBS Radford?
CBS okay. Radford. So jump in the 5 or 6 cars, right to the 101, race to the factory. Close the 10 o'clock show, right? Jump in 5, 6 cars, straight to Hollywood to whatever the club was that night. I remember this is how crazy it was. I would jump out the car in front of the club, line cars around the corner for valet, jump out the car, leave the car running, put it in park, get a guy $50, yo, $100, yo, take my car, man. I'm going, and just go in the club.
Right.
Skip everybody that's trying to valet. $100, yo, my man, give me a ticket. All right, I'm in. Party all night, chicks. Oh, what you doing after this? Yo, come to the crib. We gonna eat. We gonna cook. Go in the backyard. Turn the propane on. We cooking out at 3 a.m. in my backyard. Somebody dip off for the chick. This one dip off for the chick. This one dip off for the chick. Next morning, I gotta be on set at 9, 10. No, that's a Friday. Then we party all weekend. But like, let's say it was a Tuesday night. I had to be on set at 9. We do that same thing at like 6 a.m. Shorty's getting up to go. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll just go to the set. I would go to the set, sleep in my dressing room so I wouldn't be late for work. So I used to do all that partying and was never late for work. Had a shower in my dressing room, had clothes, change of clothes, toothbrush. Everybody coming in like, yo, Rock's here already?
It has to be something to be said that making it at a certain age is so much more fun. Can always say it's better in the long grand scheme of things when, like, let's say Morgan Freeman, who started popping at 48.
Right.
You know what I mean? Jumped off the electric company.
Samuel L. Jackson, 40-something.
You know what I mean? Bernie Mac, you know.
Yeah.
But when I see cats in L.A. who live in their best life from 25 to 33, maybe, you know, and I want to say 25 because if you're 21, 22, it's just you're gonna do that shit anyway, whether you got money or not. You broke or whatever, you're gonna be in the damn streets. 25 is when you hit you like, I need to get on. I can't pay rent, so whatever. So if you're like doing well or you're doing something you love and you got a crew that's like we right there with you, life is so much fun because it's just it's spontaneous decisions. Yeah, man. And as long as nobody die.
Yeah,
you like, hey, remember when you got that story? Remember we almost died? You got a bunch of them stories, and man, to do that at a certain age, especially in the showbiz world, to listen to Arsenio Hall say, because you know how showbiz has their black comedic icons in spurts,
right?
In years, every 6 to 7, they change over like credit reports. You know what I'm saying? But to hear Arsenio talk about when Eddie blew the fuck up. And he was robbing. So you got Batman and Robin hitting the streets during when Eddie blew up.
Right.
And how much money Beverly Hills Cop was making.
Was it Eddie, Arsenio, Robert Townsend, Keenan Ivory Wayans?
And he said and our crew chick was Paul Abdul. Like she was like one of the crew. And I was like, that's so funny to be like, you know, those stories that you guys were telling, and then she's like the hot Laker cheerleader, and she's hanging with y'all, and y'all probably like, yeah, she's supposed to be hanging with us.
And she probably knew all the bad chicks, and they was like,
you know what I mean? She's supposed to be hanging with us.
She was funneling them right.
She's at the top of her game, being a Laker girl, ain't even really Paul Abdul yet. And then then she blows up because we know good stock. Like, how can you not materialize your dreams when you hanging with Rock and Chappelle and everybody in the group?
What they say, if you hang around 5 successful people, you'll be the 6th one.
Yeah. And so, man, that has that to just be able to do that on some sort of scale in LA. Club hopping, hold my keys, here's $100. It's about don't inconvenience my night. That's really what it's about. And you have a dope time.
Yeah,
it's like
don't fuck up my vibe.
Don't mess up my vibe,
it's
man.
A vibe, man.
What you want me to do with this? You know what? It's a car. Park it. Man, like you don't know what to do with this one. You know what I'm saying? And man, and D-Ray used to do that. He probably still does that. Like D-Ray lives in clubs. He was the first one to start taking me to clubs.
Nah, he probably stopped by now.
I don't know. He still walks in the clubs. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I
haven't been in the club in a minute, man.
But like Tehran is one of my boys. Tehran is like, we're just gonna go do a walkthrough. He knows what he got to say to me to get me not to get in my car. Finesse is right here. It's just right here, Finesse. And we just gonna walk right here. He got on his damn bathrobe at 1 a.m. And he walks me into a club. And I'm telling you, I'm there maybe for 15, 20 minutes before I'm like, all right, bro. And it's not that I don't want to be there. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to that life. That is a switch for me. Something clicks in my brain. Because when you do something every night in New York for like 4 years, now when I say every night, we took probably one night off a week. But something about back then, vodka and cranberry and weed smell, just the smell, with the right music, man, I ain't coming home. I'm gonna shut it down. Now we're gonna go get something to eat after that. So
you know what? Now, I think part of it is when people. I don't think people really take it into account. Part of it is like the scene starts to change. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't even think it's an age thing. I think, and for me, it was almost like this. It was almost like one of these moments. I just was like in the club, and I was like, music's not the same. Mm-hmm. Sonically, it's not attracting me anymore. The women look a little.
I gotta say it's an age.
She might be too young.
Yeah, I gotta say age because
These dudes are wilding over here. They fighting over here. This is, you know what? I think I'm done.
I was literally looking at the groups of different sections, the couches, and the people standing on the couches, and I went from being them to thinking they look dangerous. I think I'm too old to be in here. When I was talking, like, they look like something's about to pop off any minute. Or this is when you that's a fire hazard. That whole section is a fire hazard.
Nah, I never got to that point. But this is what point I did get to. I got to the point where it was like, okay, sonically, I'm not entertained anymore. I'm not loving the vibe of the music. Then it was some of the audience looks a little young. Mm-hmm. I might have saw a fight or two. And then this is the thing. When I was like, I'm done. I would get my bill. Realistically, it's $3,000. I bought 1942. I bought a couple of bottles of champagne. I bought some Ciroc. I invited chicks to the table to drink. I had maybe 3 drinks of 4 or 5 bottles of liquor. I didn't drink. I had maybe 3 drinks, and all this liquor's gone. And these girls are gone, or maybe we're going to take them and hang out with them for the night. And then I thought, okay, hold up. That same $3,000, I could have went to Turks and Caicos. Mm-hmm. That same $3,000, I could have went to Houston for 3 days, and then went to Miami for 3, and then went to the Bahamas.
Do you think?
And that's when I was like, we're going to live differently now. For this, if I'm going to spend this money, I'm going to spend it for the world, enjoying the world.
Do you think it's something that we got to do or go through and experience eventually, or that it's just part of the game? Or do you think at certain ages people really need like a money counselor? Not somebody tell you what to do, but just explain to you the options and how money work, because we all arrogantly say, I know how fucking money work. Don't talk to me about how money work.
Right.
But right now, don't fuck up my vibe, like he's saying, right? But then in hindsight, you say, God, you always sober up. It's almost like sex and nothing. And it's like when somebody bring you a bill, you sober the fuck up. Whatever's made you say, I'm about to have sex with this chick, and you chase her all night, and then something about you coming saying, damn, where are my shoes? Like, whew, what are my shoes? Or is it, and in addition to that, is it somebody bringing you a bill when you instantly think of what you could have done with that money? But then you go back the very next weekend.
Yeah, see, that's
so is it? So I'm saying,
is
a necessary like?
I think now. Here's the thing. I don't want to say when I blew up, because your whole career is like a succession of big breaks. Mm-hmm. There's no people say what's your biggest break? Your whole career is a succession of big breaks. Getting past the Laugh Factory was a big break.
Mark that. So
for where I was in my career.
That's when I point to like, mark that, because I definitely want these new jacks to stop thinking that one thing.
Yeah, no, it's when the comic strip in New York said, okay, you're passed, you could be a regular. I fucking jumped on a car and was like, oh my, I almost cried. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be making $7 a spot now. Mm-hmm. I was like, yes, that's a big break. Mm-hmm. Being on TV, getting all of us, is no bigger than getting passed at the comic strip. When they say you can make $7 a spot, it's the same. It's the same equivalent.
Yes.
So, what am I saying all this for? Okay, so big breaks. I think when you start out and you're not making any money, when you start out, and let the New Jacks know this, when you start out in stand-up,
you let them know.
There's no money involved. Mm-hmm. I used to do spots at the Comedy Cellar that would pay me in 6 chicken wings. Do you hear what I'm saying? I would do a 2:30 a.m. spot at the most prestigious comedy club in New York City that people are dying to get in, moving to New York to get into, traveling and from near and far to, if I could just get in this club. And my spot was at 2:30 a.m. and I would get off stage, go to the kitchen and get 6 wings for free. That was my compensation. And
with celery? No celery.
Celery and try to get a fry or 2 on that motherfucker.
Right.
And look, and that was rewarding to me. Mm-hmm. To be on the train going home that night with my 6 wings was like, yo, this is what it's all about. Mm-hmm. And when you in that space, that's another thing to all the New Jack comics. Please, please, please don't be so concerned with the next step that you don't appreciate the step you're on. The space you're in. Mm-hmm. When I was doing bringer shows in New York, you bring 2 people, you get 2 minutes. You bring 5 people, you get 5 minutes. And then ending my night at the Comedy Cellar with 6 chicken wings. That shit was the best time of my life.
Right.
I was doing the thing I loved. I didn't have any money, but this is the dream.
Right.
Then you get passed. Then speaking for myself, then I get passed at every comedy club in New York. Every comedy club in New York now is paying me to perform there. So I can do 6 spots in one night. And I'm coming home with 6 chicken wings and maybe $40. This is the greatest thing ever. Right?
Especially in stand-up comedy.
This is the best. Yo, there's nobody on this planet you can convince me that has a better life than me with this $40 in my pocket and these 6 chicken wings on a subway going home.
And it's one of the rarest jobs where you feel that way. There's no way if you got you went from teacher's aide to teacher, and at the end of that 8 hours, they said, here, your 6 chicken wings. She would not come back.
Exactly.
She's not dealing with them kids
the
for no
train,
chicken
like,
wings. We have one of the few professions where not only will you drive another state to go do a 15-minute guest set, but after you did it on the way back, you just like, that was dope.
And you like, me, I'm telling you, I would be on that subway, empty, late night, 3 a.m, and I would say, yo, you would be hard-pressed to convince me that somebody else in this world has a better life than me right now.
How old were you when you first touched the mic? Somebody gave you a mic and a stage and a crowd, and it was a real club.
25.
Okay.
I started late. As according to like most people start.
Similar. If you told me you sold health insurance and car insurance any time in your career, I'm gonna be like, God damn it.
Yeah, I worked for AIG. I worked for AIG.
Yeah, I work for Humana.
I worked for AIG, and this is what we always have to say. I worked for AIG, the 3rd largest insurance company in the United States. I worked for AIG, and the department I worked in was a 24-hour department. So there was an 8 to 4 shift, a 4 to 12 shift, and a 12 to 8 shift. I started working at 8. When I got hired, I was working 8 to 4, which was fine. I could still get out and do my stand-up, come back in the. Then they were like, hey, we want you to train this new guy. We're going to switch you to 4 to 12. Come on, man. Stand-up is 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. So that's cutting into my time. So what I would do, and this was over some time, what I would do is, like if I had a homeboy that worked a 12 to 8 shift, yo, my man, can you please come in 2 hours early, cover my shift because I got a spot. Yo, can you come in 3 hours early tomorrow because I got a spot. I got a show in Jersey this weekend. Yo, can you cover my Friday night because I got to be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Bet. So after time, I'm talking about this is over some time. My boss comes to me one day and he's like, I'm going to get it right. He says something like, are you making enough money? Oh, are you making enough money chasing this dream that you don't have to work here? And I said, to be honest with you, no, I'm not. To be honest with you, I'm not making enough money chasing this dream that I don't need to work here. I still need to work here. But if I don't chase this dream, that's a problem too. And he said, it was all white guy, so he made it feel like the way his inflection was like almost like he's slave master and I'm slave. He said, this job puts food in your mouth. And I didn't like how that sounded.
Right.
And he says, so you go back to your cubicle and give yourself 5 minutes to think about what you want to do. And I went back to my cubicle and I sat there and I remember it like it was yesterday because my brother's birthday is April 16th. It was Wednesday, April 14th. And I sat there for a few and I looked around and I went back in his office and he said, did you make your mind up about what you want to do? And I said, yeah, Friday will be my last day.
Dope.
And I remember it because it was my brother's birthday. And I walked out the office.
Dope.
And I was walking to the train station and the building was behind me. And I told myself, if you look back at the building, you'll end up back in the building. So I just walked straight to the train station, didn't even look back. And 6 months later, I was on a plane to Amsterdam to do a show like the European version of Def Jam. It was some guys at the comic strip in New York one night, late night, watching comics. And again, I'm doing crowd work like, yo, where you guys from? You guys don't look like you're from here. We're from Amsterdam. We're looking for talent for a show we do in Amsterdam. It's like the UK version of Def Jam. And we love you. Who do we have to talk to have you on the show?
He's shouting that back out from the
from the room. And people in the room like, yo, like this is like towards the end of my set. So people are like, yo, you should definitely have him on the show.
Right.
Like I had a great set. And they were like, who do we talk to? And I'm like, the manager of the club. The manager of the club of the comic strip was my manager, Richie Tinkin.
Okay.
So I'm like, talk to Richie. And Richie called me the next day, like, yeah, they sent the contract and you're going to Amsterdam, kid. And I had never, keep in mind, I had never left the country.
Right.
I had never been west. I had never been east. The furthest I had been down south was I'd been to Florida before, went to Disneyland. But usually it was New York to South Carolina to see my grandparents and back. Mm-hmm. So now I'm on a plane with Tony Woods,
Legend.
Godfrey,
Legend.
Patrice, Teddy Woods. Mm-hmm. And we're going to Amsterdam and do this show. And I'm like, yo, you can't convince me that somebody has a better life than me.
Right.
And I go do the show and I meet a young girl in Amsterdam and she's bad as fuck. Mm-hmm. And I'm walking down the street like, hey, you a cutie. And she's like, oh, excuse me. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I said you're a cutie. You know what that means? It means you think I'm cute? And for 8 days, I hung out with this badass chick from Amsterdam.
Ever.
Yo, she took me around, took me to get food. I hung out with Shorty. My father, he's from Queens. You know what Queens? I know what Queens is.
Nice.
And I'm in Brooklyn, and like 2 years later, I got my cell phone, and I get a phone call. Like, hey, Tony? Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey, and it's the chick from Amsterdam. I'm like, I am in Queens to visit my father.
Wow.
Are you free? And I'm on a train heading to Queens to go get this bad motherfucker. I'm like, you can't tell me this ain't the best life ever.
When comedy works, even when it don't work, but at least you're performing and you think you're making progress because you don't know when your break is coming.
Yeah, I don't. You said don't work. I don't know what not working is.
Right. No, there are a lot of people that there are a lot of people say, yeah, I do stand-up comedy. But they're getting on stage once every 3 months.
Yeah, I don't count. The
that's not, to me, that's not.
The people that don't get up regularly, don't try to get up regularly, the guys that do it just for the chicks, or do it just to say I'm a comic, or do it for their IG followers, I don't consider you anyway. I'm talking about comics. I'm talking about guys that love the art form. That's why I say the art form all the time. Because, it's a group over here that's like, oh, we comics. Don't know what a comic is.
Right.
Don't know what writing, the discipline it takes to write material. Have no grasp of who came before them and what they owe them and what they owe the next generation. I don't even consider you. I'm talking about I'm talking about the art form. I'm talking about artists. I'm talking about the artists.
Do you? I like and I encourage all the social media, all the influencers as they call themselves, all the people who like. I started my career on the internet, and I'm a comedian. And I always say, yeah, man, you funny as shit. Sometimes when I hear them say, yeah, I'm a stand-up comic, I be like, are you? And it's no shade, but I'm like, that's two different skill sets. You know what I mean? But you are definitely a comedian. You're definitely an influencer or whatever you guys call it. And what you do is dope. It is your lane. That's where you killing it. You're fucking millionaires.
Right.
But a 45-minute set, I don't think you got that.
You know what? I will be the first to tell you. In any social media comic or Instagram comic thing, whatever, I don't know what the particular term is that they use. I owe them an apology. Some of them, I owe some of them an apology because I remember when the term first started floating around and people were, oh, he does this, and I was like, yo, you telling me that dude has the same job as me? No, that dude don't have the same job as me. It's like, and I would always use this analogy. It's like a chef and a cook. We're both preparing food, but dude, I'm trained. You just filled out an application for Waffle House.
Right.
We're both preparing a meal, but don't get it twisted that you do what I do.
Right.
Now that I have spent some time around a lot of social media comics and gotten their backstory and have an appreciation for some of it. I'll tell you right now, I sat down and talked to Chico Bean one night.
Yeah.
That dude told me how he used to rent spots out, like rent a performance space out, pay for the chairs, hire a DJ just to put on a comedy show, drive from city to city to get on so-and-so show. Tremendous amount of respect for that dude.
Right.
Ryan
Davis.
Davis.
One of my favorites.
Tremendous amount of respect for that dude. DC Young Fly, who blew the fuck up on social media and then had to go turn around and realize, oh shit, I got to have some material now.
If I'm on tour.
To warrant all of this if I'm going to tour. And he's on dates with me and Samore and Earthquake. And I'm like, okay, tremendous amount of respect. But I do know there's others that are like, I'm just going to act stupid on camera and be, not you. I'm talking about the artists.
Right.
I'm talking about the artists.
Right.
So at first I was like,
because I
wasn't giving them the respect they warranted. But I will say it is a different slot. It's like gangster rap and underground hip hop. Yeah,
Right.
we you know what I'm saying? You still a different slot, but I do respect you. I do think you hip hop too.
I say it all the time. I said, I don't care what nobody say. You got to be blind to not realize that's the right now.
Right.
So do you want to fight over the back then or be relevant in the right now?
It's a progression of
It's more of
the
us
art form.
flocking to what you're doing than you guys are trying to like, I got to go grab a mic.
Yeah.
Because we see the checks y'all getting monthly and the fan base is faithful. And that's all we ever wanted.
Yep.
We just had to go drive.
Yep. I'm actually like, I got to
20,000
create
hours.
something for myself. Like I got to
Yeah.
create something in that space because it's
Yep.
all about capitalizing on all the platforms.
Yep.
Sorry.
2 more things before we get out of here,
Yes,
man.
sir.
This
Yes,
has
sir.
been amazing. Jeannie, I told you we weren't going to have to say nothing.
Dude, listen. Comedy, you just throw the topic out
He
and
was
I'll
like,
go.
"What?" He was like, "What
I'll
we gonna?"
go.
He was like, "What are we gonna talk about?" I said, "It's
You
Tony
throw
Rock,
stand-up
bro."
comedy, you throw it out there. I'll go, bro.
Like I just
I'll
got
go.
goosebumps again. I'm not even cold. I'm telling you. Sometimes when I know who I'm sitting in front of and just their skill set, I'm like, we don't need to prepare.
Yeah, that's
It's-
man. Listen,
Yeah.
It's Tony Rock.
some people that meet that'll meet some of my friends. I met Tony. He was really quiet, and then my brothers or my friends. Oh, shit, you must not have been talking about stand up.
Right.
You wasn't talking about stand up.
Right.
Cause Tone ain't quiet when it comes
Right.
to what he went like. You know.
I think I'm more quiet off the stage. I love being around stand-up comics, and I love talking about the business, and I love talking about people I can learn from. Unfortunately, and I get approached. Laugh Factory is my club. I don't do the store that much. Do you do the store a lot?
Mm-hmm.
I don't do the store that much, and the Improv is my club.
You know what? Can I say this? You got to get in the store, bro.
I know.
You got to get in the store. I didn't get. There was a guy that was booking the store for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to name names, but he was booking the acts.
Mm-hmm.
And I called Spots in one night, and he said, "Well, I see your name on the marquee all the time at the Laugh Factory, so I guess you don't need to work here," and wouldn't book me.
Mm-hmm.
But I would still go for Fat Tuesdays, and I would go if a friend of mine had a spot and sitting there. I knew all the comics; they all knew me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that guy left, the new guy came in and reached out to me and said, "Hey, why aren't you performing here?" And I'm like, "Because so and so said."
That's where I am, and then that's what I need to do.
I'm telling
The
you.
same guy I spoke to, he said the same shit to me at the wrong time, and Ego Finesse was like,
Yeah, Ego Tony was, I'm at
Yeah.
the factory, my name's on the marquee, you already see it, bitch, fuck
Yeah,
you.
like, fuck
but
your club.
But this I'm telling you, you got to get in the store because just like you said, at the store, it's one show from
8 to 1 in the morning.
8 to 1 in the morning. And the lineup is fucking flamethrower.
And everybody passes the mic to the next
Look,
person.
and you bring the next comic up. So it's something about that too. It's like a camaraderie thing. But it's just, you know, if you claim you're a bad motherfucker.
And it's a store.
If you claim, I claim I'm a bad motherfucker. So yeah, I want to go up after so-and-so. Yeah, bring me up. And I want to bring so-and-so up. And I want to play in this space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you play ball, you go to the court and you see some dudes going in, you like, yo, who got next?
That's one of my 2020 goals.
You want to jump in that mix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm definitely making that a 2020 goal. I am not a regular at the store. And that,
Yeah, you gotta
and,
get
and
in.
before I pass on in this world, and if I'm going to live out here in this community, I think I want my name painted on that wall.
Dude, when they called me and sent me the picture of my name on the wall.
See? Fuck that. Now I got to do it.
What?
That was the purpose of the day.
Shalom. Let's go.
I gotta do it.
Listen, you're going to love it, bro. You're going to
Yeah.
love it.
Because I feel like I'm really, really good, and those were where all the best comics perform. And I only go there when I'm either doing the belly room or doing somebody's big night, which I don't mind. But that playroom,
Yes.
that original room,
Yes, you got to do it.
I gotta. Yeah.
Plus, it's a different energy in that club.
It's
than-
called the original room, right?
OR, yeah.
Okay.
They call it OR. It's a different energy in that club as opposed to the factory or the improv or the haha or the union. So you just want to be able to.
Yeah,
I want to
Master
be able.
that
To,
one
I want to
too.
be able to cook in any kitchen.
yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
Love the analogy.
Put me in any kitchen. I got this.
All right, my brother. I cannot let you go without saying 3 letters. Black Lives Matter. Where are you with the Tony Rock take on just where we are? I'm not saying, hey, man, why don't you tie this into that and this and that? I'm just saying right now how you're feeling. I feel like it's a perfect storm with us being at home. And a lot of people got a lot of time to think. We're goddamn being influenced by what we see on
Man.
television every day. Where are you right now with just your headspace, your mental?
I wanna choose my words very carefully because I know how people always misconstrue what the sentiment is and what people say a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes purposefully too, but. Mm-hmm.
But people always seem to like. I'll give you a backstory. When Mike Brown, may he rest in peace. When Mike Brown lost his life, and people were rioting in Ferguson, I tweeted something along the lines of, I don't remember exactly because it was some time ago. I tweeted something like, may Mike Brown rest in peace. My condolences to his family. I had to start with that so people knew that I was coming from a heartfelt place.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace to Mike Brown. Condolences to his family. People in Ferguson, we got to unite and stand strong. And I wish you, like, I was heartfelt with it. And then I said something like, I say all that to say, which I still stand by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I said, people look at how people treat each other, and then they surmise that that's how they can treat you too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a group of girlfriends, hey, bitch, where you going? Bitch, you wearing them shoes? Oh, bitch, you out here doing it, bitch. And then you might think, okay, hey, what's up, bitch? And then she's like, who the fuck you talking to?
Right.
Oh, I just thought because you guys treat each other like that, that's how you get treated, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, we got to start treating each other better so that people will know to treat us better.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, motherfuckers.
They went in on your ass, huh?
They went in on me. No, I think I said we got to start caring about ourselves so that they know to care about us. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yo,
the same argument right now.
You dumb motherfucker. You think Mike Brown didn't care about himself? That's why he got killed. And I wish if your father was alive today, would he be upset with what you just? And I'm like, they not getting what I'm saying. I'm saying when we give a better showing, maybe somebody will go, they have so much respect for themselves. They treat each other with such kindness and such love and have such regard for each other that shit won't even fly if we try to do it to them.
Right.
If we come in there like, get out of here, nigga. They'll be like, whoa, we not standing for that. That's not how we get down.
Right.
Right? But they went in on me. They didn't get it. They took it the wrong way.
Twitter is dangerous.
But listen, then I would say maybe 3 days later, Puff gets on Twitter and says, yo, we got to start treating each other better if we want them to treat. Almost identical. And it was, yeah, Puff, let them know. And that let me know, like, people don't want to hear it from certain people. They only going to take the medicine from certain people.
Right.
They didn't want the medicine from me.
But
hold on.
Note to Terry Crews, you're not the certain people want to hear from right now.
So look, now here's my thing. You said Black. What does the Black Lives what's their mission statement? What do you think? This is an answer I want to answer. What do you think their mission is?
You want an answer from me?
Yes. Black Lives Matter. What does that mean? What's their mission? What's the movement? What is their mission statement?
They definitely want the conversation to open up to all Black lives, because the founders are heavily, because they're gay, pro LGBTQ. They want the conversation and the advancement and the equality and treatment of Black people to mirror, if not even better, but definitely at least mirror how everybody else is treated when it comes to policing, education, healthcare, everything. And I can get deep into their mission statement, but I think the overall systemic racism and the economic deficiency when it just comes to our culture that we're basically being targeted with suppressing, like the knee on our neck, literally and figuratively, is been put there purposefully, and they want to end to that.
What's your answer?
Okay, so to summarize, I would assume the Black Lives Matter movement is about dismantling these systems that are a result of westernization and colonization. And that includes heteronormative thinking, policing, and other systems that are a result of European westernization.
Okay. That's a great answer, by the way. Okay.
I was going to say his answer.
It was great. Yo, both answers great. And this is the only reason why I'm asking this. This is the only reason why I'm asking this. Because we marched for days after George Floyd. Mm-hmm. Breonna Taylor, we were in an uproar. Mm-hmm. As we should be. I'm not saying like we shouldn't be. Like, it's warranted. The rioting, I understand the rioting. Like I told Dean Edwards. I understand the rioting. I understand the marching. It's both coming from the same anger.
Right.
They're both coming from the same anger. The burning shit down is coming from the same anger that the marching is coming from. Mm-hmm. That might be a little misguided anger, but I understand both of them. And I will go even as far as to say I'm with either one, as long as we do it collectively. If everybody say, yo, fuck it, let's all burn some shit down. Collectively, let's fucking riot. I'm with it. If collectively, let's march and, peacefully protest, I'm with it. Collectively. Right? So I look at Black Lives Matter. I don't differentiate. By that what I mean is black lives. You're a black life. You're a black life. I'm a black life. That's a black life. Black Lives Matter, right? If a police officer does something and we march in, that's because they did something to a black life that mattered. Right? Okay. So this past weekend, 41 kids shot in Chicago. 20 shot in New York City. I saw with my own two eyes video footage of a dude jumping out of a truck with a fucking assault rifle in Atlanta, letting that shit off in the middle of the street. Somebody shot an 8-year-old child on her way to a cookout. An 8-year-old child on her way to a cookout. Just try to remember when you was a kid and your mother says, we going to Aunt Susie's. Just the happiness that you had in your energy, your spirit was just like, oh, bet I'm going to see cousin so-and-so. So innocent, right? And a bullet that wasn't meant for her takes her out. Where the fuck is the marching now? So when we don't march, don't you think that paints the picture that we aren't, that black life didn't matter because a black life took it?
Right.
What are we doing? I'm with whatever y'all want to do, as long as we do it collectively. And by collectively, I mean if we marching for this life, we marching for every life.
Right.
An 8-year-old child, bruh.
Right.
An 11-year-old little boy. They pulled up on a car in Chicago with a mother driving and her kids and aired the whole car out. And nobody's marching. What's our mission statement here? Let me know I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm down for whatever y'all want to do. But tell me what the fuck we doing.
Because it has to be consistent for everybody.
Yo, you know what?
It has to be a consistent response. We need that response to be just as passionate for everybody.
And I will go even further. I know that we don't bring the drugs in the hood. I know that. I know that we didn't bring the drugs in. I know we don't bring the guns in.
We don't even bring the liquor stores in.
We don't bring the liquor stores in. We don't bring the bodegas in. We don't even. First of all, we fighting. I'm gonna go too far now. We fighting over streets we don't even fucking own.
Right.
It's niggas on 13th Street that don't fuck with niggas on 15th Street, and nobody owns shit on 13th or 15th. All it takes is for the white man that own 13th and 15th to come in and go, yo, we're gonna triple the rent, and now that shit is a white neighborhood. But y'all niggas ready to die for 13th Street and 15th Street.
Right.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
There's just
police
no
brutality, very real. Systematic racism, very real. Mm-hmm. But we not helping that shit
when we kill each other.
Yeah.
We got to give a better showing. You know why the bus boycotts work? You know why the Montgomery bus boycott work? Because Dr. King said, yo, this shit ain't going to work unless all of y'all boycott the bus.
Right.
If 10 of y'all niggas get on the bus, he didn't say nigga. If 10 of y'all get on the bus, then 10 more going to get on.
Right.
Then 10 more going to get on, and it's not going to work. It only works if everybody says, yo, we not getting on that bus. And it's going to take some time. That shit lasted 56 days.
I was about to say that, yeah.
I was about to say that too.
And my mother told me when she grew up in Andrews, South Carolina, when they were boycotting, this is how unified, I just want to give this point as how unified we used to be. When she grew up in Andrews, South Carolina, if you was a black kid walking down the street because you didn't want to take the bus, and a black person with a car was driving past, they would stop the car, not knowing you, but they know you black and I'm black. Yo, how far are you going? Get in. Because we had to make sure everybody was good.
Right.
We had to really make sure each other was good. So now we trying to have this movement, but over here, these niggas don't give a fuck about this movement.
Right. And I was just getting ready to go into, at the end of the day, if we're honest with ourselves as black people, I think we might be, and see if you feel me on this, Jeannie, we might be the only race of people where after the 400 years of slavery and everything that was ever done to us, we are the only race of people where the niggas outnumber at least 5-1 the black people. Now we're all black, but it's them diehard niggas that's like, I don't give a fuck. I'ma get by any way I can. I'ma do what I gotta do. And maybe I just want to be average. Leave me the fuck alone. I don't even want to hear shit about your marching, whatever you got going. Fuck that shit, man. That shit ain't gonna work.
Dude.
How many times you just hear somebody just shut shit down as soon as you even, just before you even bring, man, don't talk to me about that reading and shit. Don't talk to me about that kumbaya shit. Don't talk to me about brother. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Those people in a community where they're living on top of each other with no resources other than drugs, guns, and dope, they're going to kill each other because there's nobody that can really come in and tell that entire group, even if you reach 2, by the time that person had just left and gave that brilliant speech, the mother 20 going to swoop back in and say, you really falling for that bullshit? And before you know it, you're back to where you are because of your environment and where you live. You got to see these niggas every day.
That's why Malcolm X said, the American gangster, the black gangster, is the most powerful person. Because the black gangster can reach the motherfuckers that we need to reach.
And at least tell
they're
them
gonna listen to the gangster, the nigga that says, yo, I used to do that too, yo. I was the one doing all of this. I was you. They're not listening to the clean cut black dude that's like, I don't know this life. Why do you need to sell drugs? The gangster that's like, yo, nigga, I used to do it too.
Right.
But I'm telling you. And here's a whole nother thing. We already saw this movie so many times.
Right.
We saw this movie so many times, right? We already know the end is dead or jail. We know this. Choosing this lifestyle, you automatically signing a contract for death or jail. Why not just try to go, well, let me see if I could, somebody told me I was kind of artistic. Let me just try to do this art, see if it goes.
What is that part? What is that part that makes so many of us say, I've had people in my own family say, yeah, but I'll let you do that.
You know what? Know what it is? You want to know what it is?
What is?
Because when you born into that, that's all you know. I grew up in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. When I was growing up there, it was the worst neighborhood in America. I have homeboys that didn't see past the neighborhood. Like, it's almost like their eyesight was limited
to 13th Street,
to the neighborhood. Like they couldn't see outside of the neighborhood. Literally, like I'm gonna be a big famous comedian one day, nigga. I'm telling you, bro. I'm gonna be on TV. I'm gonna be in movies. Get the fuck out of here, man. Because they didn't have the vision past the corner, the projects, the girl.
Why?
Because they born into it. Because it's like, okay,
But then why does five brothers, look, two of them make it, one pass away, and the other two say fuck it?
My grandfather was a criminal. His father before him was a criminal. He was a blue or a red, whatever they was, right? And then his dad was a blue or a red, and then my uncle was that. So I'm born into this is what I know. He didn't make it out. He didn't make it out. He didn't go to college. Who the fuck am I to think I'm different and I'm gonna be?
Right. Now,
whereas on the other hand, I was raised, yo, you live here, this is what you, but you are the guy to think you're gonna be out of here.
Want to hear something that is super real? That is the exact upbringing of a white supremacist. That is the exact upbringing of somebody who grows up hating and is racist from a kid, from childhood. Yeah, because and when you have that one sister who tries to say, y'all are so stupid, why do y'all feel that way?
It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same. Yo, my dad was blue, so I'm blue. My mom's was blue, so I'm blue. And my uncles are blue. Everybody's blue, so I got to be blue. In Crosstown, my dad hates niggas. My grandfather said hate niggas. My sister hates niggas. My brother hate niggas. I got to hate niggas too.
Now, you know what's the part that hurts us and advances them? The niggas who really feel that way and they really behave and live life that way, they won't get a job that fucking matters. So they just another body of hate and anger and we ain't gonna never be shit in the neighborhood. And on the flip side, the racist becomes a police officer, a judge, a teacher, a mechanic. But they are in the community. They are in the fabric of the community where you're going to meet them. And on a given day, how they feel, they'll treat you normal or they'll goddamn put some shit in your food.
Plus, you know what the difference is? The nigga over here, I'll say the nigga over here and the nigga over here, right? The nigga over here is going to kill a black person that has potential. Is going to rob the black person that has potential and has a chance to make it out. Right? That's the fucking fucked up part over here. The nigga over here is never going to fucking come in contact with a white person with another white person that's has promise and is doing the right thing. They in their trailer parks over here living their life, and white people are keeping them away from them. You know what I'm saying? White people that have something to live for,
right?
That have resources are like, yo, we don't want those white people around us.
And then in this America, when it comes to that economic racism,
in the hood, the black dude with promise and the gangster,
we got access to them all day.
On the same street, we all in the same pot,
on the same street, and that's why. I mean, it is what it is. That 10% that Bernie Sanders talks about, they run in their own circles. They will never, ever, ever have to meet, even if they're racist, but let's say they're not racist. Right. They would never have to meet a redneck ever in their life. Ever. They will never. It's not even the same. That's the difference. It is not even. It's nowhere near the same community. Nowhere near the same. You can't even get. They'll get pulled over driving in a certain zip code.
Exactly. That's the difference. We in the same bucket, all of us. The brother that's doing great,
the nigga that's doing dope,
the bank manager and the dude that owns
and
his
the
own
star
barbershop.
Athlete.
Yes.
All live came out of the same neighborhood.
Yes. But over here,
I love it.
The white people are like, yo, keep that white trash away from us.
The reason I say I love it is because I know we're three separate minds, but that is the reality. And I think we all agree on that. That when you come out of the black community, y'all all coming out the same salad bowl. You just are.
Absolutely. I wanted to lend just a real quick historical anecdote that I came across recently. I do a lot of research on slave narratives and this Reconstruction era in America. So from 65, when all of a sudden 4 million black people are free and out in society, the decades that followed up until the turn of the century, I spent a lot of time reading material on what former slaves thought during this time. The Library of Congress has audio files where they interviewed former slaves. So you can literally hear audio of people who were a slave.
Wow.
There's this one brother named George Johnson who was a slave. His dad was owned by Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy. George Johnson's a great storyteller, and I have the audio file. We'll play this on the next episode. But he talks about after freedom broke, because that's how slaves refer to it, once the break came, once freedom broke, he talks about finding a plot of land and inviting his family to this plot of land. And over the next year, he invites more family members out to this land, and more black people are. It's one of the first projects. It's one of the first housing projects, self-funded. They're doing this themselves. The larger issue is that this is indicative of systems that are in place that create the bucket from which we all come out of.
Right.
That's the issue.
Right.
And I think Black Lives Matter is so busy trying to break that bucket.
They're not concerned with what's going on inside the bucket.
That's a great criticism.
What's going inside?
That's a great
inside
criticism.
the bucket when we do it to ourselves.
So they need to focus on the bucket, the inside of the bucket first.
Yes.
Then let's go.
I think with the chapters, I think with as smart as the people are who founded this movement and as driven as they are, they can do both. But it has to be organized. You have to have somebody on black community outreach and outrage just as much as you are with police brutality and systemic racism. We got to fix what's going on inside the bucket. Just like Breonna Taylor, and as outrageous as we can be, we got to feel for the 8-year-old girl in Atlanta, Georgia.
Man.
And we got to march.
Man.
And we can't be afraid to go into these communities.
Man.
We got to go into our own communities with people that look like us, with so many people that they would look crazy shooting everybody. And maybe we can get some of them to march with us. Maybe we can meet some of these people to say eventually, bro, y'all cannot fight over 13th Street and 15th Street.
Oh, if you want to fight over it like this. Buy some property on 13th Street and fight the guys on 15th Street to buy 16th Street.
Come on. It is.
That's how you fight them. Damn, he got that property before I did? All right.
Come on.
Good one. You got me on that.
People. When I tell you, I knew it was going to be what it was before it even happened. Woo! Man, that's my main man, Tony Rock. I want to thank him for coming on the show.
Yo, thanks for having me. I appreciate everybody that tuned in and is checking us out and listening to our voices.
Tony, where can people find you, brother?
Social media, Tony _Rock on Instagram, Tony Rock on Twitter, TonyRockComedy.com. I don't have any tour dates as of right now to tell you about. But as soon as freedom break, I'm back on that road, baby.
There it is.
I'm back on that road like crazy.
We're heading north, south, east, and west.
Yes.
We're chasing the freedom check.
And it's a beautiful day outside in Southern California. Today will be a great day to arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor.
I love it. We out. Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope y'all enjoyed that episode of Understand This. Shout out to my main man, Jenny D's. And let me tell you something. It's only going to grow if you tell somebody about it. So don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. All right? New episode next week. Peace.